Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 335 of our Get Your Goals annual challenge. It's December 1st, so we're starting to wind down the year and get ready for next year. So today's topic is some tips on how to set your priorities. Why? Because the only priorities that really matter are your priorities. And we can argue about that and say, oh yeah, but I have to consider my family. I have to consider my significant other. I have to consider my job, etc. The truth is, if you don't have your priorities set and you know what's most important to you, you will be flip-flapped around by everyone else around you because their priorities will become your priorities. You will put them ahead of your own and find yourself in situations that are stressful, aren't what you wanted. You'll go down roads and make decisions and choices. They're not necessarily in your best interests. So let me grab a magnifying glass and share some of these tips. And then our action item today is going to be to think of and write down. I don't care where you write it. You can share it in the comments below, but write it down. What are your top 3 priorities for 2024 or right now? What are your top 3 priorities maybe for the rest of this year, this last month of the year? I'm going to share mine. I just did them about 30 seconds ago, but I know what they are. And so it's pretty easy to make decisions and choices and to decide what to do and what not to do in order to achieve these when I know that these are my top 3 priorities, which is why we're doing this exercise today. So what are some tips on setting your priorities? Number 1, know what your values are. Name your values, know what your values are. For me, it's family, relationships, and making the world a better place. Those are actually my 3 biggest core values, and they have been for a long, long time. And actually becoming a continually improving, better version of myself, becoming the best possible person that I can be. So I guess that's 4. But know what your core values are and what's important to you. Love is my number 1 core value, right? Love affects everything to me. Number 2, do a maintain, improve, and change test on the things that pop up. I like to brainstorm a whole list of things that are important to me after I look at my core values. And then I ask myself, okay, do I just want to maintain my level of relationships? Do I just want to maintain my level of finances? Do I want to improve them or change them? Or maybe they're not that important to me anymore, so I don't want to spend a whole lot of emphasis on them. But I like to take that whole list and then write by it whether I need to improve it, change it, or just leave it the same. Then use the power of 3s, meaning, oh, I forgot that that's why I missed one. The third one is test. I can't read my writing. That's really embarrassing. Test something different. Oh, styles. Test out different styles, meaning realize that you at any given time have the ability to decide who you are, who you want to be, and how you want to show up in the world. So try on different styles. Maybe you want to be more serious. Maybe you want to be more carefree and fun. Maybe you want to be more adventurous. Try those things out and see how they feel to you. If they feel good, do more of it. If they don't feel good, try something else. Then 4 is take stock of your job or your business. If you have a business, take stock of your business and decide, what are your strengths? What are your responsibilities? What is expected of you? What do you expect of other people? Is it an area that you're growing in? Does it make you feel good? And is it a place that you want to stay? Or is that one of those areas you might need to change? I found myself in the past on several occasions knowing that I had outgrown the job that I was in, and it didn't look like there were chances for advancement there. So in order to advance and manage my own career faster, I'm talking about in corporate America, same is true in different businesses that I've owned, I had to make the decision to make a change and go find a different job, join a different organization, join a different company, start a different company, whatever is right for you. 5, cut out the urgent in order to understand and work on what's important. There's this whole spectrum of urgent, important, and we cover this when we use the urine analysis tool, which is a terrible name, but it does remind us to look at things from different perspectives. And one of those is it urgent? If it's urgent, it usually goes up higher on our priority list, but we need to ask ourselves, is it urgent that I take care of this thing, or can I delegate it? I say delegate urgent things that I don't personally have to do. And then is it important? Urgent and important are a little bit different. Is it important, meaning it has to get done, is more, and does it have to be done by me? Again, if I can delegate it, it's important. I can go ahead and delegate. It's important that we eat meals every day. Is it important? Is it urgent? Sometimes it's urgent if we're not taking care of ourselves, but is it urgent and important that I personally prepare those meals? No, that's totally something that's urgent and important, but I can totally delegate it and I don't have to be responsible for it. It doesn't have to be a personal priority for me. All I have to do is remember to eat it. I don't have to do anything else to prepare it. I do have to make good choices, however, in terms of what I do eat. So we want to look at things, and the urgent things, if we can delegate or ask ourselves, is it really urgent, or does it just feel urgent because it's someone else's priority? Number 7, contemplate before committing. This is one that I learned and had to learn the hard way. I used to say yes to everything. And even if it was more than I was capable of doing, I found a way to make it happen by not sleeping, not eating, not taking care of myself. And I would commit to things. And I finally found out that I was committing to things that I really didn't want to commit to or want to do. And I gave myself permission to say, no, I don't have the capacity or the desire. And I usually didn't say desire because that hurts people's feelings, to contribute to and help out with absolutely everything that came up. This is mostly back in the time when my kids were in school. And, the schools are always looking for help with everything. And I was working full time and had a couple of businesses on the side and was raising my kids. So it was too much, but I would say yes to stuff to the point where I'd get 2-3 hours sleep a night. And I learned pretty quickly that that wasn't maintainable if I wanted to take good care of my family. So I needed to learn to think before I agreed to doing something. And I started to pick and choose, and that gave me more energy for the things I said yes to. Number 8, create a to-don't list. Now, I don't know about you, but I used to have about a 400 item spreadsheet running to-do list. And it was all the things, not all the things, but it was a lot of the things that I wanted to do. And I originally did not categorize them as urgent, important, necessary, resources, what resources were required, and what kind of effort, what kind of energy and effort was required to get that thing done. But once I started doing that, it was amazing how it was easier to prioritize my to-do list. And I broke it down to, what are the 10 most important things that need to be on this list? What are the 10 most urgent things? And I broke it down, and by doing the urine analysis on it, I discovered which ones were the top 10 that needed to be on the list. And the rest were just on a list out in my computer land. And as I knocked 1 or 2 off, I'd add 1 or 2 back from that list based on analyzing them first. And then finally, separate your priorities by season. And it might be season of the year, right? It might be season of your life. My priorities are very different now that my kids are grown than when I was raising my kids and they were little and they needed me in, babies, grade school, middle school, high school. They have different needs at each level of development, just like we do. And so we need to set our priorities based on that. I look at my priorities, if you notice during this challenge, every single month, right? I pay attention to my priorities. Beginning of the year, we prioritize each of the different life framework areas: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution, communication, and confidence. We put those in priority order. We did it again last month, and we're looking to see, are there any changes? Because maybe you set a goal this month in the spiritual area of your life. I personally didn't finish mine yet, but you already accomplished that. So that one might have been a high priority for you. So you worked on it hardest first, and now it's going down in your priority list. It's not even in your top 3 because you already accomplished your goal in that area. So we want to be looking at, where am I right now? And that's why I say our action item today is to, what are your top 3 priorities right now? My top 3 priorities right now, I just did them, and it didn't even take me 30 seconds to do them because I know what they are. Number 1, my family, health, and relationships. And that includes my health and my relationship with myself. Number 2, 2023 goals wrap up and 2024 identification and setting of those goals. And then overhauling my online activities. This is kind of a back burner one that's been bothering me for about 3 years or 4 years now. So it's time to say, all right, let's just deal with that project and get it done, or delegate the vast majority of it so that I know it's being taken care of, but it doesn't take up my mental energy every time I'm doing something. And I think that this time of year, I have technological issues, usually with some of the platforms I'm using, and it's every year. And it actually, with one, it's like every 2 to 3 weeks, something changes. And being visually challenged, this is not easy for me to deal with. I'm not making excuses. It's just a pain in my rear for things to always be changing. So if I can delegate some of those activities, then somebody else has to deal with the technical changes. And I've got more mental capacity to work on priorities that are actually more important to me, things that I can do to make the world a better place, that make a real difference, not dilly-dallying with things that I probably have no business trying to figure out myself. Kind of like my makeup and hair, right? So that's it. Any questions about this today? I will tell you that one of the most freeing things that you can do is know what your personal priorities are, because it makes decision making so much easier. A lot of people in the world have a hard time making decisions. Can't decide what they're going to eat, can't decide what they're going to wear, can't make a decision about what movie they want to go to or what restaurant they want to go to, because they don't exercise their decision making muscles. So if you use some of the tools that we've learned this year and you set your own priorities, and priority setting is one of those tools. If you know what your priorities are, it's really easy to say yes and no to things. If I know that my family, health, and relationships is a priority for me, it's easy to say yes when a family member asks me to take them, or I'm not driving anybody these days, but back in the day, take them to a doctor appointment, etc., or help them go and listen to their doctor's information for them so that they can remember it, etc. All right, that's it. Any questions, ask. There'll be a write-up in guide 17, yet I have not done it. I haven't done it yet, so it'll be later today. All right, have an awesome day and welcome December. Let's really have a great time this month. I was going to summarize what we're going to do this month. It's going to be a little different than the last few months. Some things will be the same, but some things are going to be different. And heads up, we are going to start setting our 2024 goals, identifying and setting those, because I think it's critical that we don't just do this challenge and then forget about everything we learned, that we roll into next year and we've got those goals set before it's even the end of this year. All right, have an awesome day, and I'll be with you tomorrow.